Welcome back to another video, you guys. We are getting this thing nice and lubed up. So today we got the truck all washed up. As you guys saw in the beginning there, and another day in the shop here. Probably gonna accomplish not a whole lot. I'm not even gonna say what I'm gonna try to do. I'm just gonna work on stuff, and as I get it done, well, we'll go from there. I'm gonna get this thing finished greasing this up here. Next project I'm gonna do is get this thing moved back. I'm gonna do like the really important things that I need to get done, that I've been meaning to get done. So I'm gonna pop this off, move this back. My mirrors, I figured out, well, they're on upside down. So I didn't know at first when I put them on, there was no direction. I just saw one the other day. His were the other way because they sloped down. I did call 12 gauge customs and asked them, I was like, hey, I got your guys' mirrors. And I put them on, and I'm wondering if they go a certain way, like if there's, the mirror brackets need to go on a certain side. And he just said, I don't know. And I was like, well, I just wanted to ask before I peeled into it, so I didn't have to go through all of it again for no reason. And he's just like, yeah, I don't know, you'll just have to try it. So I was like really disappointed in that. That was really disappointing, but I did, like I said, see on another guy's truck, they are sloped down. So I am gonna switch them so they're the correct way on there. And then, yeah, that's gonna be about it so far. So we're gonna get started on moving that back. So that was a complete lie about moving this back, because come to find out after I cut the zip ties on there, the only thing that is wound up is the electrical line. So I don't have enough air hose to move that back. I'm gonna have to get more air hose so I can extend it longer. On here, these are my lights for my bunk here. And what happened is it ended up getting corroded and they kind of fell apart. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these, I don't really know what they're called, but you put the wiring on each side like I did on this one here. And then you just use a tool like this. Get it in the middle there and just crimp down on it. And then if I did this right, which I usually don't, The wires, oh yeah, see this red one wasn't. I need to crimp all the way across. You know, I'm a professional mechanic, you guys, so take all my advice seriously. There, now let's see. There we go, now they're not pulling apart. So now they're crimped in there, I'm gonna get I gotta find something to heat this up. Okay, so as you can hear, it works. I found one, surprisingly. Almost instantly, it gets really warm. Have Maddie zoom in on this, and then I put it on the low setting, and you can just kind of hold it a little ways away from it. It'll warm it, that glue up, and that plastic, it'll shrink it up right around that wire. So I'm gonna do that on, there's I think there's 2 of them here, 2 connections, 3, whatever it is. As you can see, I got them electrical taped up because that was kind of my make do there. When I had to fix it in Indiana, I didn't have any crimp things to do this to it. So I just kind of got them all together so they would hold together and my lights worked. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all these done on here. All right, well, as you can see, our lights still work, surprisingly. Usually after I touch something, it doesn't work afterwards. Unbelievable, I was working without a headlight. So as you can see, this is my professional wiring job here. We just put them all together and then twisted them together, and it worked. So now I'm gonna actually undo all this. We got our ground wires here, our ground wire, and then this is the power for each side of the bunk. So this one here, you can see there's not very many wires left because this is part of the one that was corroded, and a lot of the wires just kind of fell off. So I'm actually gonna cut it back farther so we can get into some fresh wire and re-strip it. That way, when we put it all back together here, has good connection and we don't have to worry about it. So I'm gonna go grab some strippers. See, this is how professional does it. We got all these stretched out, cut back. So they actually run, I need to put it back in here because it ran through this thing, the protector, I don't know what the heck these are even called, but I had pulled it out because I needed more wire. As you can see, I got a black wire connected to a red wire, which really doesn't make any sense. So that's what I did. One thing I'm really not good at is wiring. I'll tell you that for free. All right, you guys, so on the last side, I apparently didn't have my microphone on the entire time. So I'll show you guys again how I do this. What you do is you take all the screws out around the door panel here, all across this bar, and then all over here, you just take all this off. And then that allows you access to the back here where my mirror bracket is mounted in there. But I'm gonna get working on taking this off so I can at least be ready for tomorrow morning. I'm gonna come back and work on this because it's getting pretty late now. My load that I was supposed to pick up yesterday, I got there and it ended up being, because I was supposed to pick it up at 7 a.m. yesterday. Walked in to check in and they're like, when did they tell you this was supposed to pick up at? And I said, well, 7 a.m. And he's like, yeah, but it's 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, which is this morning on Saturday. So, extremely disappointingly, that's even a correct way of saying that, I ended up having to, I went and did a different load then after that, and then they worked it out so I could at least pick up in Wilmer last night, really late. But then I had to go over to Faribault, Minnesota to pick up my second part of the load. And I ended up getting there at about 4 or 5 in the morning or whatever it was. So then they got me loaded up right away pretty much. But then my last pick was in Newport, Minnesota. So I got over to Newport. It was an 11 a.m. appointment. which was already a lot later than I wanted to be because I wanted to be here in the shop already like right away in the morning because I know how long it takes me to work on stuff. And then they got me loaded at a half decent time anyways. I got in the door early, but then I sat there for, I don't know, what is that, four hours or whatever, waiting for paperwork. And then ended up not even getting home until late today. So by the time I got home and got here, the day was gone. And now, like usual, it seems like every time I want to work on the truck, I always run out of time, something comes up or whatever, but we keep going. So I'm gonna get the rest of these exterior door panel pieces off, and then that'll allow us access to the back where the bolts are, because you gotta kind of pull this back and then get your wrench back there so you can hold that nut, unbolt them, and then we'll get them switched over. All right, so on this part, I just want to show you, we got pretty much all the exterior off now. There's a little pin right here that this bar goes back to the door handle. So you got to pop this little pin out, put it in with the rest of the stuff, and then put your finger behind this little bar, and then you got to push the bar through here, or the little, I don't know what you call that. Anyways, put your finger back there so when you're pushing on it, you don't go and smash your window apart. Get that up out of there, and then you can take your handle piece off. Now, we got one more bolt right here we got to pop out. That's going to allow us to kind of pull this over, and then we can push our window out so we can get our wrench in there and pull these 3 bolts out so we can get our mirror off. All right, guys, well, as you can see here, we got our new lead mounted mirror bracket on here. We put it on the right way this time. It is quite a bit noticeable, the difference of how you can see it slants down, where when it was on I had it the opposite way, it went up. So I should be able to see out of the mirror a lot better now. It went like way faster this time compared to last time me doing it because I knew how to do it, and then also that I have new bolts for my mirrors here. Over here is all still a disassembled door. I got it done last night before I took off, and then I had this mirror off on this side, but I'll set the camera up in here so you guys can see me put it all back together. There we got it, guys. So I'm gonna grab my wrench. I used the impact to take them off, but it just wouldn't make sense to do that and put them in and end up stripping everything out. I actually shouldn't even use it to take it off because who knows, that could wreck the threads on this thing. The joys of an old truck, you know? You just never know what's gonna wreck what because it's so old and rusted out, used and abused. Definitely not like I got this thing and it was treated super well throughout its life. I'm gonna get the bottom here lined up. As you can see there, they all pretty much line up with a hole. So I'm gonna put my bolts through there, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get these tightened on. We'll start putting our inside of the door back together here. So now these bolts, I kind of put them back so I remember how they went, but I cut them a little bit because otherwise they stuck out too much and they'd hit the window. So get my mirror lined up here, my bolt in, and then figure out what I did with my, oh yeah, that's right, I put them up here. I put a washer and a lock washer on. I'm telling you, if I wouldn't be able to pull this window back, I don't know how I would. Now this window on this side pulls about farther than the one on the other side, so it's a little bit easier on this side. One at a time, otherwise I drop them. Another nice reason to have the door apart because I'm always dropping stuff, and now I can get right to it if I drop it, because it doesn't drop inside the door. It's just grab it at the bottom here. So put our nut on here. Yeah, guys, this is way easier than last time. I'm telling you, just trying to do this part in itself took me forever. All right, got this one started. Now this one, far over here, there's no window there, so I just left the bolt the same. It's factory length there. Oh, shoot. There, she's sturdy. So now we're gonna work on getting our door panel put back together. Go ahead and put our bottom piece on here. This kind of just slides in behind the handle there. And then what I do, get it lined up, take one of the screws, and then just get it held in there. There we go. So these two bolts here go underneath the wood grain. All right, now I gotta find my screwdriver. Yesterday I used the drill to take them all out, but I don't think it was the right size head on there. And also, to put them back in, I'd rather just use it by hand so I don't really screw something up. All right, now we got the door back together. I'm just gonna go ahead and put all my screws around the outside, down the bar here, and around my window. So, okay, so I just unloosened the nut that I have on the top here. I'm gonna slide it on like that. Then this one down here, there. Pretty simple. Oh, that's what you don't want to happen. Have it slide out on you. So I'm just gonna tighten this up then a little bit so it doesn't slide out. Get this back out of there. Put a little lock nut on the, or a lock washer on the bottom as well, so that bolt doesn't come undone when I'm driving down the road. So there we go. And then I'll just figure out, route this like I did last time along the bottom and then up to that window for now. Okay, you guys, so this is actually a little bit difficult here. Trying to do this without the top popping. I had to loosen up the top a little bit because I needed more bolt to show through down here. Okay, so now we got our mirror on. Get a front view here. Oh, let's shut this door on here. There. Oh yeah, you can just tell how much lower that sits compared to what it was.